guys, it's Jacque here. I haven't done a cooking video in a while, so I thought let me see if I can throw together my little lasagna recipe for everyone. We're having company tonight and we have vegetarians and meat eaters, so I'm throwing together my my world famous lasagna, which is actually a copy of my mother's recipe. So some of you might say you don't have the bechamel sauce, and some might say this isn't exactly Italian. Well, although my name is Nicosia and although my family is from Sicily, my mother is not. She's from Louisiana. She's from French. So my mom probably got some influences from the Italian part of the family, but if this is not typical Italian and you expect it to come Italian because I am Italian, it's not actually. It's my mom's recipe, but I love it. Everyone seems to like it, so we're gonna go with it. First thing I have here is my sauce, or if you're from the East Coast, gravy. I say sauce though. And as you guys know, we make our own tomato sauce from our own tomatoes in our garden normally, and then we either jar it or freeze it and use it throughout the winter. Well, it's springtime now, so we don't have any left, so I've had to use jarred tomato sauce. You can just use jarred if that's what you have, that's not a problem, but I usually use my own, but I just don't have any left. And then to make the sauce, so for the meat sauce, I just used a mixture of pork and ground beef mixed together. Onions, garlic, red wine, what else did I put in there? A bouillon cube, and some Italian spices and some pepper. I didn't salt it because I wait to see till the end to kind of see if it needed any extra salt, which it didn't. And then for the vegetarian sauce, I just did the same thing, obviously without the meat. So this is just tomato sauce, the same kind of tomato sauce I used in here, except without the meat, but with the onions, garlic, red wine, bouillon. So those are my two sauces. Now, this is actually my second or third take on this because I wanted to make the big lasagna with meat sauce and the little one vegetarian, and I had it mixed up, so that's why I had to pour that in there and rinse this out and start again, but it wouldn't be an Ina video without some mistakes, right? Okay, so first you take the meat sauce and you spread it around, and it's important that you do the sauce layer first. I'll explain why in a minute. You might be wondering why we have a tablecloth on our table when I normally shoot in here on my nice brown wooden table. Well, if you saw my last video where we made the bottle cap bar, our bottle cap table bar thing that we have outside now, we spilled epoxy, that hard epoxy on the table, and we couldn't move the bar thing because it had to dry. So yeah, we ruined our we're making a cheap bar out of free bar caps. We ruined our table. And if I lift this up, I don't know if you can see it. It's all, the whole table's, can you see it? The whole table's ruined. So stay tuned to what we're going to do for that. But for now, we just covered it up with a tablecloth. Okay. Second sauce, the vegetarian sauce, same thing. Make sure you use the sauce first. I'll explain why in just a second. Sauce layer first. And then you can go next with your noodles. Now I'm going to explain to you why you need to do the sauce layer first. A lot of people boil their noodles first. That's not necessary. I mean, you can if you want. It's not necessary though. If you have your noodles hard, like just uncooked pasta noodles, let's see how to open this up. You can do it this method and not actually have to cook them beforehand, okay? So if you put your sauce layer first, and then you layer on your pasta things, like this, when you bake it, you're going to, the pasta's gonna cook in there. So, yeah, let's do that here, boom, boom, boom. Then you wanna put a little bit more sauce on top of the pasta. Let me see if I can do this a little bit better here. Boom. Boom. Sorry. Just knocked the pot over. Okay, like I said, it wouldn't be an Ina video if I didn't mess something up, right? Okay, good. Good. Okay, now I put a little bit more sauce on there so that you're, oh, I knew I was going to do that. Put a little bit more sauce on the noodles so that they cook, and then you can start adding your cheese on top of that. Now you will see here that I have both ricotta cheese, which is typical, obviously the typical Italian way, and I have cottage cheese. Now I grew up my whole life thinking that cottage cheese went on lasagna, which obviously if it's typical Italian, it doesn't go on a lasagna. So one time I asked my mom why she put cottage cheese instead of ricotta cheese, and you know what she said? Because it was cheaper. So my whole life I thought that you're supposed to put cottage cheese on a lasagna, which actually it's not really typical Italian to put cottage cheese on a lasagna. You know what, I'm just going to do the meat one, because otherwise we're going to be here all day. I'll just show you doing the meat one. It's not typical to use cottage cheese, but since that's how my mom always made it and that's how I like it, I use a little bit of cottage cheese. So then you do your cheese layer. Just plop on some cottage cheese on there like so. Space it out a little bit. That will spread out when you cook it. I don't really spread it out, so to speak, because I like it when you get different bites that are a little bit different. And then the ricotta, I just sort of plop in there between the cottage cheese. Plop, plop, plop. Come on. Yeah. And you will do multiple layers like this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, now, then I'll put a layer of this delicious mozzarella cheese. Be kind of like the food glue. And then, like I said, the sauce has enough salt on it because I tasted the sauce beforehand. But I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. And a little bit of Italian seasoning on each layer, just to make sure it pops. Okay, so I'm not going to do the vegetarian one. You guys are going to get bored. But then just continue this process and layer it up, and I'll come back when the lasagnas are done and tell you what to do next, okay? Okay, so I'm back, and I have my 2 lasagnas completed. And a couple of people have asked me before when I do my cooking videos, I never say how much of things that I use. So I'm just going to go over that quickly here. I used 2 full bags of this pizza mix cheese, which each one was 500 grams. I needed 3.5 jars of tomato sauce. The jars of tomato sauce, each one was half a liter. So 3.5 jars of that. I used 1 pack of 500 gram lasagna noodles. So I used up all of those, except there were a couple of broken ones that I didn't use. 1 thing of ricotta cheese, which was whatever size that is, and the thing of cottage cheese was 200 grams. Of course, if you don't want to use the cottage cheese, like I said, I think that's something my mom made up. You could just use ricotta cheese, and if ricotta cheese is too expensive, you could just use cottage cheese, because my mom made this just with cottage cheese. So the next step with this is, the reason I like to do lasagna is because when you have company, you can have it already done and just throw it in the oven and you don't have to do anything else. And our friends that are coming to visit, they were supposed to come on Christmas, but I had my knee surgery, so we had to cancel that. And so now they're coming, this is Easter week. I'm not sure when I'm gonna post this, but right now it's Easter week. So their kids are gonna come, and so we've got Christmas presents for the kids, Easter baskets for the kids, so there's gonna be a lot going on here when they get here. So I won't have to worry about dinner, just throw these in there, throw it in the oven. The way you wanna throw these in the oven, put foil, this is important, put foil on the top, aluminum foil on the top, and cook at 180 to 200 degrees Celsius, which would be about 350 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Cook them for the first half an hour with a cover on it. Now, if you put your foil too tight on top of here, the cheese is gonna stick to the foil. So you can try to make it a little bit tented up, or sometimes I stick some toothpicks in here so that the foil doesn't touch the cheese, because then when you take it off, the cheese is gonna go with the foil, okay? So be careful about that. Then the last half hour, bake it without the foil on it, and then that'll get the cheese nice and brown and yummy and cooked on top. Also remember, like I said, you don't have to cook the noodles ahead of time, but make sure you don't go skimpy on the sauce so that the noodles can sorry, I'm always looking at my window because people walk passing by my window all the time. So the noodles can soak up the sauce, and then it gives it a little bit more flavor than if you boil the noodles ahead of time, because if you boil them ahead of time, of course they just suck water in. If you do it this way, they suck the sauce in. Also, it makes your lasagna tighter. You don't want lasagna to be like, whoa. Okay, you want it to be kind of that you can cut nice pieces. Also important, your house is gonna smell fantastic and everyone's gonna be like, when are we gonna eat, when are we gonna eat? Make sure you give your lasagna a little chance to rest. So don't take it right out of the oven and cut it, because then it's kind of like you need to let a meat rest or you need to let turkey rest. You also need to let lasagna rest. Let it rest for, I would say, at least 15 minutes, that it kind of, it comes back together a little bit, and then your pieces will be nicer to cut. If you cut it right out of the oven, it's gonna be all swobbly and all over the place. Anyway, so that's my lasagna. I'll try to take some more film when it's cooked. But I can't guarantee it, because we're probably gonna start drinking as soon as I get here, so I'm not really sure what's gonna happen then. But nobody's driving though, I promise. So maybe I'll film when they come out of the oven, maybe I won't, but if not, you know what to do. If you do make this recipe, please make a video or take some pictures and send it to me. I'll be interested to see how yours works out. And thanks for watching, talk to you soon. Don't forget to subscribe, talk to you soon, bye.